Nutrition, 5th edition, Chapter 1, Nutrients and Nourishment by Carrie Erickson. Why do we eat the way we do? Most people make food choices for reasons other than the nutrient value. We have different influences. One of them is sensory. Sensory influences includes our taste, texture, and smell are the three most important factors that influence our food choices. Cognitive influences, we have day-to-day influences on food choices. Comfort, sometimes we eat for comfort or discomfort foods. Advertising affects what we choose to eat. There's different foods and diet trends, social factors, and as far as nutrition and what the health beliefs are. Environmental factors. The economy makes a difference. When gas goes up, food usually goes up. That affects sometimes if we can afford different types of food to eat. Our lifestyle, the different availability of food. Our culture influences the different types of foods we eat. Our religion and also our social ecological model. Here we talk about the American diet. Although Americans know about healthy food choices, their eating habits do not always reflect this knowledge. The American diet is truly a melting pot of cultural contributions to the different foods and tastes. Although Americans receive and believe many messages about the role of diet in good health, these beliefs do not always translate into better food choices. Introducing the nutrients. The definition of nutrients, here you see that food equals the mixture of chemicals, nutrients equals essential chemicals, and there are 6 different classes of nutrients. Basically, nutrients have 3 general functions of the body. They serve as energy sources, structural components, and regulators of metabolic processes. The first nutrient that we're going to talk about is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates include your sugars and starches. They are our main energy source as far as the function. And where do we get carbohydrates? From grains, cereals, breads, pasta, vegetables, fruits, and dairy products. Lipids. Lipids, also known as fat, are known as triglycerides, fats and oils, cholesterol, and phospholipids. The function of lipids is also an energy source, also helps with structure and regulation. Where do we get lipids or fat from? Fats and oils, meats, and also dairy products. Proteins. Proteins are made up of amino acids. They also can be an energy source, structure, and regulation, and we usually get our proteins from meat foods, dairy, also legumes, vegetables, and grains. Vitamins. Vitamins help regulate body processes such as energy metabolism, blood clotting, and calcium balance. We have fat-soluble vitamins, which includes vitamins A, D, E, and K, and our water-soluble vitamins, which are the B and C vitamins. The fat-soluble do not get excreted like the water-soluble vitamins do. The fat-soluble vitamins are stored in the body. And where do we get vitamins from? All the different types of foods that we eat. Minerals. Minerals contribute to body structures and to regulating processes such as fluid balance. There's macrominerals and trace minerals, which means there are some minerals we need in large amounts and some in small amounts. And we also get minerals from all the different food groups. Water. Water is the most important nutrient in the body. We can survive much longer without the other nutrients than we can without water. Water's function is also for structure and regulation, and we get water from a lot of different foods that have a high water content, watermelon, soups, ice cream, but also from beverages that we drink. Next, we're going to talk about the energy in foods. The energy in foods in the body is measured in kilocalories, also known as a calorie. Carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are sources of energy. Carbohydrates and protein both have a potential energy value of 4 calories per gram, and fat provides 9 calories per gram, where alcohol provides 7 calories per gram. The energy in foods. What is a calorie? A calorie is how we measure the energy in food. How can we calculate the energy available from foods? We're going to see this in the next slide, and also calculating the percentage of energies in foods. Okay, here it shows calculating the energy in food. Here you can see that a bagel plus 1.5 ounce of cream cheese contains 39 grams of carbohydrate, 10 grams of protein, and 16 grams of fat. To figure out how many calories are in this bagel with the cream cheese, we take the 39 grams of carbohydrates times 4 calories per gram, because that's how many calories are in carbohydrates. That equals 156 calories. We take the 10 grams of protein times 4 calories, because there's 4 calories per gram for protein. That equals 40 calories. And we take 16 grams of fat times 9 calories per gram, because fat contains 9 calories, and that equals 144 calories. Add up the calories from the carbohydrates, the protein, and the fat, and we get a total of 340 calories. Next, we're going to talk about diet and health. Obesity has a number of factors that influence overweight or obesity. Obesity is a concern right now because we're starting to see this generation of kids not outlive the generation before them, which is the first time we've ever seen that. And a lot of that is because of the health risk because of overweight and obesity. And they list those here. Type 2 diabetes we see an increase of. Coronary heart disease is happening at a younger age. We have more high bad cholesterol, which is the LDL cholesterol, strokes, high blood pressure, gallbladder disease. All these are affected with obesity. So with them, we talk about behavior, environment, and genetics all play a role, as well as physical activity. As far as applying the scientific process to nutrition, scientific studies are the cornerstone of nutrition. The scientific method uses observation and inquiry to test hypotheses. Research designs are used to test hypotheses, which include epidemiological, animal cell culture, and human studies. The human studies a lot of times uses a double-blind, either a placebo-controlled and also clinical trials, which are considered the gold standard of nutrition research. There's a lot of headlines out in the news, and these can be confusing. Information in the public media is not always an accurate or a complete representation of the current state of the science on a particular topic. So it's important to sort out what is actually fact and what is actually fallacy. Here it talks about finding scientific information versus misinformation. Scientific information is made accessible to more and more people. Less detail is provided, and more opinion and sensationalism are introduced. So sources include professionals, journals, scientific magazines, newspapers, nightly news bites, and unattributed internet sites. So how do we evaluate information on the internet? There's red flags of things that are not necessarily true information, which is known as junk science. Anything that offers a quick fix usually does not have the scientific background behind it. Recommendations that offer those should be looked into. Anytime there's a dire warning of danger from a single product, those should be a red flag. Claims that sound too good to be true usually are. Where if you see an advertisement that says you can lose 10 pounds overnight, unrealistically, you cannot lose 10 pounds overnight. So if they sound too good to be true, they usually are. Simplistic conclusions drawn from a single study, and dramatic statements that are refuted by reputable science organizations. So those are all red flags of junk science. And the last slide talks about the American diet. Here again, the American cuisine is truly a melting pot of different cultures. We all bring different food and taste, and Americans receive and believe different messages about what the role of diet is in good health. Those beliefs do not always translate into better food choices. So this concludes Chapter 1 of Nutrition.